Hello everybody, welcome to our live studio show here in Belgium, Lommel. It's round 13 of the F1 Motocross World Championship. This is the Monster Energy MXGP of Flanders. And as I said, we're at Lommel Wood, the deep renowned sand track here that is just going to be an absolute pain in the cheeks for every rider doing laps this weekend. Coming up on our studio show today, we have Camden McClellan from JM Honda Racing. We've got Jeremy Van Horbeck, who's standing at the moment for Paul Jonas at standing Construct Honda MXGP. And then we've got Pierre-Alexander René, the 2009 MX3 World Champion. But before we check in with our first guest, Lisa Leyland, here we are. We're back at the beach. Did you pack your sun cream?
Wishful thinking. I wish I needed my sunscreen, Paul. What's going on with this Belgium summer?
And you know what? I've just realised I've forgot my little gag for you because how did you get home last week, by the way?
How did I get home?
Yeah.
Oh, no, let's not go there. I had a situation. I'd rather not repeat it. Thank you very much.
Anyway, she was convinced that her passport was behind the reception. They hadn't given it to her. She was trying to call them at midnight on Sunday night. And then she found it in her bag.
Where I left it. Funny that, isn't it?
Absolutely. Should we crack on with the show then?
That's a very Camden thing to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, from one Camden to another then. Here's Lisa Leyland. Camden McClellan, JM Honda Racing. Good to see you. First time on the studio show.
Yeah.
And but before we go anywhere, obviously you've been sort of knocking on the door, you know, in and around sort of EMX and the last few years. Bit of background information. What age were you when you started? When was your first race? When was your first bike? That kind of stuff.
I started when I was 4, and I never really took it seriously until I was around 8, and then I started doing well in South Africa. So at around 12, 13, 2017 it was at the time, I came over and did my first ADAC race, so German Championship. And at the end of the year, I ended up podiuming on one. So from there, we were like, you know, maybe we should take this serious. So then I came over full-time 2018. I won the ADAC Championship, the German Championship, and then as well as the European Championship. And then from there on, it's just been, every year, take it as it comes, going up on bikes and in classes. And then now we're here, first year as a pro, and... yeah, it's going well, enjoying it.
Did a family member ride then or not? Like a dad or an uncle or a relative in that respect or not?
So
that how you got started?
Yeah, so my dad, he rode, but just for
race.
fun. No, racing was not in the question. But he rode a lot of bikes. It's a big thing in South Africa, just free riding, because you had a lot of freedom there. So a lot of people buy bikes, go free riding, and my dad was one of them. But my oldest cousin, he raced, and then he did his knee, so the dad called it quits. But I kind of, I got it from him. Started with his number, started with my dad and his dad coming to the track to help me, and that's how I got into it.
Cool.
Well, it's your rookie season, Camden, and MX2. New team as well, JM Honda Racing. But it has been a difficult start to the season, hasn't it?
It has. I only arrived here February, so I missed the whole preseason. So I had around 1 month before the first GP in Argentina, and everything was going really well. I was riding the bike really well, feeling good physically, and then shoulder popped 1.5 weeks before the first GP, so that was like a real pain in the ass, like a real kick up the ass. And
pain in the shoulder.
Pain in the shoulder, yeah, exactly. Actually, it wasn't that bad, to be honest, but yeah, that was not part of the plan. And then I went to Argentina, and you know, for 1.5 weeks I did a lot of rehab, did everything I could to get in shape. I went to Argentina, did 2 laps. I was like, wow, this track's amazing. On the 5th lap, going through a turn, my shoulder decided to not let me race. It just came straight back out. So it was a long trip for nothing. And then a long rehab process. Around 2 months I was out. Came back in France, hit the back of someone, crashed, re-hurt my shoulder. So it was definitely tough, yeah.
Well, like you mentioned, you did return back in France, but how difficult was that process to sort of rebuild your confidence? Because you have scored in every race apart from one.
Since you came back.
Which one? Which one did I
was
score?
it the first race in France you didn't score?
Oh, yeah. That's possible, yeah.
But was it difficult to rebuild that confidence?
It was. Especially coming back in France. The track was scary. Like, I was not confident at all. Muddy. Steep downhills. I was like, maybe I should have come back a week later, you know, maybe just giving it 1 more week. But it's gotten better every week. Like I said, when I crashed, I re-hurt the shoulder, so that kind of didn't do me any good. And then until after Germany, I started gaining confidence, getting better, and now we had a great weekend in Loquet.
Well, let's pick up on that then, because last weekend, 6.5, 6 overall. What made the difference? What's changed in the last couple of races since even Indonesia?
A lot. Yeah, no, it was a great race, leading Jago and all the factory boys for a while. I've taken a very different approach mentally. I've been struggling. I've been living by myself in Belgium, and it's taken its toll. I would say I was in a very bad state of mind going to the races and just trainings in general. Now my mom's here, so I'm feeling a lot less stressed, a lot more happy, a lot more like myself, and it definitely showed. You know, I took some balls, went outside, I had the confidence.
Well, I was going to say, in the first race particularly, you put up a good fight as well when Weckman passed you and you passed him straight back. And, you know, so you actually showed up last week like you wanted it. Yeah,
no, and I did. I don't know what happened to me once I got those good starts, but as soon as I rounded the first corner, someone else took over. You know, I was really pumped up. Didn't care who was behind me, who was in front of me. I wanted to go for them and get as far to the front as possible. So it was good.
Yeah.
Well, you actually won the EMX 85 Championship in Locket in 2018. How much track knowledge did you get from that win?
Because there were a lot of guys that turned up last week had never been there before. But
yeah. To be honest, not a lot. Like, the track was really similar. It doesn't change much every year. You know, there's small things that change. But that year, to be honest, 2018, I was getting on my bike. I was going to the start line. There was no nerves, no pressure. It was like, oh, it's another race. And then I ended up winning. I was like, oh, that's cool, you know. Didn't think much of it. Now I process and analyze a lot more. Take a look at the track back, you know, and
look at the podium. Guy on the left, Kai de Wolf, and Liam Everts.
Yeah. And I remember Kai crying on that podium. I was like, man, it's just a European Championship, you know.
Well, you say it's just a European Championship, but how important was it for your career to win the EMX 85?
For sure, it was important. You know, obviously, a lot of people step in and give you support. But for me, it was. Yeah, that year I really had a different mindset. I was just a kid, you know. I was, it's another race weekend. Yes, you know, I was looking forward to the pit bike riding after the race more than the actual race. So it was a very different outlook, but it definitely helped.
Yeah.
But obviously here we are this weekend in Lommel. Obviously the team workshop is just the other side of the fence there. How many laps have you done here recently?
I could not tell you. Too many to count. Every week I'm like, oh, Lommel again. So hopefully it pays off this weekend. Otherwise, I'm saying to Joel and Jackie, no more Lommel. I'm done.
Joel Ruhlant's his trainer. Good character. And what about your teammate, actually? Over easy.
What's the joke?
Delvintor Alpha Easy.
Over
easy.
No, really.
Anyway.
He's not a fan of this, I can tell you that. He's not a fan of Lommel.
No, I was watching him in the warm-up in the free practice earlier, and obviously he was a little bit cagey when everyone else was full gas. And it's but that's the thing, you don't grow up in these conditions. No. It's not easy just to pick up overnight, and he's been here like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So what are your hopes then this weekend?
Well, I mean, my main focus is on the start, but if I can replicate what I did last weekend, I would be very happy. You know, other than Kai passing me on the last lap, I'd rather that not happen again. But if I can replicate, do something similar, get some good starts, I think it'll be good for sure.
Realistically, obviously 6 overall last weekend before we go, and I'm hoping our next guest has arrived. Can you challenge for top 5? Can you challenge for a podium? Is that realistic over the course of the year?
I would say don't be surprised, but I'm not saying expect it, you know. Right now, my main focus is at starts because that helped me so much in Czech. So if I can pull another start and every weekend just run up front with the factory guys, I believe that I will be fighting for podiums and top 5s, and I wouldn't be surprised. But that's not really the goal right now. It's just to get out front, get a good start, ride with them as long as I can and push it.
All right. Well, look, Camden McClellan, Honda, JM Honda Racing. Thanks for joining us this weekend. All the best for the rest of the season. There's not only a few races left, but let's see. Let's hopefully challenge for those top 5s.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Thanks,
you. Right. Our next guest is in there waiting in the wings, Jeremy Van Horbeck. Before we do, here's an episode snippet from our Behind the Gate series. This one focusing a little bit on Lucas Koonen's first GP win in Sundbauer.
Lucas Koonen's performance in Sundbauer was astonishing. But were we surprised? Not really. because he almost went 1-1 in Germany at the previous round, and had it not been for the chain problem that he had in the second race with a few laps to go, he could have got his first Grand Prix victory there. So the fact that he just put that out of his mind coming into Indonesia, like some people will dwell on it, oh, I should have been this and this and this, but he just came in with a clear mind. I think he knows that he, has the speed now to compete with these riders in MX2, and so from that side, he's unlocked the formula. For so many years, Belgian motocross has relied on the likes of Stefan Everts, Joel Smets, Marnie Gevorts. It's taken a few years to see that next breed of rider come through, and to get a 1-2-3 in possibly the toughest conditions in Sambauer, Lucas Koen and Liam Everts and Jago Geerts as 1-2-3, and the 3 Belgian flags above the podium. The national anthem was for all 3 of those guys, really, not just for the winner. So that's pretty cool, and I don't think it's ever happened in MX2.
Hello everybody, welcome back to part 2 on our live studio show here, the Monster Energy MXGP of Flanders in Belgium, with me, Paul Malin and Lisa Leyland. And our second guest is in now, Jeremy van Horbeck from Standing Construct Honda MXGP. Jerry, good to see you.
Thank you.
First question, how's retired life?
It was good. It was. It was good. Yeah, but little bump in the road.
You're back.
Yeah.
Well, look, I don't know if you know this, but this is actually your 19th home Grand Prix. Your first was back in 2007, Namur.
Oh, yeah.
And that place doesn't even exist anymore.
No.
So it gives you an idea. And actually, your 254th Grand Prix. So I believe next week will be your last one. So, 255. Nice number to round out.
Nice number.
Yeah. You've had 2 podiums in Belgium in your career, both in MX2, 2011 and 2012. Were they the highlights of your home Grand Prix? Because I think 2011, did you miss quite a bit of the season as well, and you came back to get on the podium?
The highlights, yeah. It's always nice to be on the podium when at home.
Yeah.
But in MX2 was definitely more easy than in MX1. So yeah, great memories, obviously, and yeah, good the highlights, yeah, from MX2 in Belgium, wherein it was good, yeah.
Sure.
Well, you're filling in for the injured Pauls, Jonas. Your first race back was in Germany. We know you still ride regularly, but just how ring rusty were you in Teufelstal?
It was. I was really rusty.
It's different racing to training, isn't it?
Yeah, and to be honest, I did the testing, and in Italy for Pirelli, and it's riding, but not the same than riding MXGP. And to be honest, I was surprised that it was so good in Germany, because I was not fit at all. Like just amateur pace was okay for me, like normal pace, but to MXGP pace was tough. So, but I enjoyed it, and after I got back to work, I had 4 weeks, and like you could see last week, made a big step, and yeah, I'm on the good road. Yeah.
Well, and actually, after this GP, how was the body feeling? Did you just feel like you'd done a GP? Did the muscle memory just come back?
No, but I struggled bad time after this GP and also after Loket. Like, it took me 3 days to recover. Like, I said to my future wife, because we're still not married, almost.
Hi.
I said to her, whoa, what is this? Like, I need 3 days to recover, and back in the days, like, after half a day, ready to go again. But now
that's old age, though, isn't it?
I think I'm getting old.
Over here they say niet normal. Huh?
Niet normaal.
Well, look, obviously we went away to the flyaway GPs in Asia, Indonesia.
Yeah.
How much riding and testing did you manage to pack in during that time, and the extra days that you didn't lose from traveling there and back?
Yeah, you know, the first 2 weeks after Germany, the training was really intense, and then I kind of got tired again because it was too much, like every day training, a lot of riding. So then the last 2 weeks settled down a little bit, and then I came in a good shape into Locket, and so yeah, it feels okay, but I know I'm not at my peak level from physically, and but one big advantage is like the bike. They've a great bike, the team, and even though I have too much power sometimes, sometimes I have to slow it down. So
well, as far as the testing goes, have you been able to help improve the bike as well? Because obviously Brian's had some issues with, like injuries and things like that, health issues. Obviously PJ's not there. So are they leaning on you to be the #1 test rider? And are you bringing that knowledge and experience to improve the bike? And if you could say a percentage, have you improved it like 10, maybe 15, 20%?
It's difficult to say, but like the first thing for me was like the setup from suspension, what Brian and Pauls were riding, to me was like not really 100%, like also for my style. And I know now we made a change, and also Brian is running the same suspension, so maybe that's already like 10% help or something. Bike-wise, I didn't change too much. I said to Wim, I say, slow it down, buddy, slow it down. So there are not big problems. You just have to ride it the proper way. Yeah. That's and the bike is built for my style, and that's so maybe it's more difficult for Pauls and Brian because they have a bit of different style, but that's tough to say. So, but like the suspension, we did quite a change, so maybe that kind of helped the guys also. I don't know. For bike-wise, not so much,
Well, last weekend in Locket, you went 8th for 8th overall. You still got it.
Yeah.
Are you able to enjoy your riding a little bit more because you're not riding the full season?
I enjoy it a lot. It's a pleasure to be out here again. Although retired life is really nice. Nice pass. So I still got it. Still got it. No, but I mean, I just enjoy it, and there is no pressure, and to be out on the racetrack with the family, and it's just an amazing feeling, and and everything looks good. And to me, it's like a relief because at the end of the last year, I was struggling in my head, like, hey, you still able to ride a bike or not? Because I was doubting myself. Yeah. But then now I know that it was not me and other situations. Sure. So.
Well, you won in Locket, Jeremy, in 2014. Is it still one of your favourite tracks?
No, it's a nice track. It's old school, slippery, technical, and it's getting rough. So that's all I need. And but favorite track, no,
it just clicks there for you.
It clicks, and also it looks nice here today. It's special. It's quite tight in some points, but it's really nice, and will be some great racing, I think.
Well, look, before we go, how are the twins? Because obviously you mentioned them earlier. Are you kind of fitting dad life around racing life, or is it the racing life around family life at the moment?
Yeah.
Just for 1 or 2 more weekends.
No, it's more the dad life, and then after the racing life. But I'm training properly and hard. But all the other time that I have, I'm trying to spend with the family, and because I was used to it. Like it was like 9 months that I was not even thinking about racing, and then I was fishing in France, and then I got the call, and then in one day I had to decide, hey, let's go racing MXGP. So it was. Yeah.
Well, nice to hear that you're enjoying being back in the paddock and everything else, and maybe just soaking up the atmosphere like you never maybe had time to before, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's really nice, and you don't feel the pressure and the stress, so you kind of more open to the people and speak with some people that normally you say, hey, I don't have so much time, we have to move on, and so it's nice, and Yeah, like 2 more to go, and then we never know what the future.
Again.
Yeah, we never know what the future brings. Eh?
Yeah, cool. Well, look, Jeremy Van Horbeck, thanks for joining us in here.
Thank you.
Possibly for the final time, but we'll probably get you on again as a guest in the future. But
probably.
Enjoy this Grand Prix, your last home GP.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Right, before we welcome our final guest, another snippet from episode 11, Sweet 16. This one focusing on Romain Febvre's 16th Grand Prix victory.
He's a rider that when everything is right, he manages to click. When he's in that frame of mind, he believes anything is possible. Won an MXGP World Championship in his first year, in his rookie season. Probably could have won another one had it not been for injuries. Came close to winning one when it was 3 riders, Tim, Jeffrey and Romain in 2021.
Romain Febvre finally wins again. He wins in Indonesia. He wins here in Sumbawa.
Yeah, winning GP, Grand Prix, or even if it's a moto, it feels, yeah, it's what we live for. We are training, like we are working, everyone in the team are working just for the victory. So it means a lot to us. It means like we have done the job when we've done it. Yeah, when you get that feeling of winning, yeah, you just, after you are not satisfied with second place. So sometimes it's hard to accept and you need to manage that to manage a championship win. But yeah, winning, it's everything to us.
Romain Febvre.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our live studio show here on MXGPTV.com with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland. Our final part, and we are at the Monster Energy MXGP of Flanders in Lommel. Our final guest joins us now, Pierre-Alexander René, and he is the team manager for VRT KTM Factory Juniors. He's also a former world champion as well. We might talk about that in a bit. But Pierre-Alexander, who prefers to be called Pela. Pela, welcome to our studio show. First time for you. Great to see you, as always.
Thank you.
New team manager role for you at VRT. How's it going, and how are you enjoying that whole process at the moment?
Actually, everything is going well. Was my first year last season. I come back in motocross, so as a team manager, and this new project with a junior team, with factory junior team with KTM, was really exciting. And until now, I think we do quite well with the 2 boys we are, and no, everything is going well, and yeah, we have a good group of mechanics with the rider, and I think it's part of the results we have, so it's cool.
You mentioned the riders, 2 talented riders, Marc-Antoine Rossi and Ferruccio Zanchi. What are they like to work with? Because they're very young kids, huh?
Yeah, they are really young. They were in 125 last year, some up and downs. They had a good speed, but they show this year they also can be consistent in their results. And in championship, actually, they are doing good because they are 3rd and 4th. So, yeah, they improve a lot. Still a long way, but we show the step on a 4-stroke was good.
Yeah.
Well, like you mentioned, Marc-Antoine is 3rd at the moment in EMX 250s. He won the overall in Germany, but he had come close a few times. How much of relief was that when it finally happened for you and for him?
I think, yeah, as you said, it was many races where he could win, and was some mistakes with the yellow flag, like little bit stupid mistakes. And I think when he did in Germany was... okay, for us was super good, but I think also for him because he finally get the win.
Yeah.
And also he raced a World Car ride in France, didn't he? 7th overall. That's impressive in MX2.
Yeah, and
Yeah, because for those who don't know, your team is the EMX 250, the European Championship team, and for them to win there and then 7th overall in MX2.
Yeah, the Villar for sure in MX2 was a nice weekend for the team because both did really well, and yeah, Marc-Antoine was especially did a good weekend, and in every like free practice, time practice, qualifying race, so he was there all weekend, and yeah, we were quite surprised to be consistent like this all weekend.
Well, last year, the other rider, Ferruccio Zanchi, raced in 120. Well, yeah, 125. He had good speed there, and I think this year maybe some people thought he's not going to be strong enough, maybe not ready, and he might need 1 year to learn and improve. But he's currently 4th in the European 250 Championship, has 2 podiums, and I think he's surprised a lot of people. How much is this down to you and the structure within the team in what you do with these guys?
Yeah, I don't know if it's because of me, of the structure, but for sure last year he already showed a good speed because in time practice he was most of the time in front, like Marc-Antoine.
Yeah.
He still continued to work with Jackie, his trainer, because he's still in Italy during the season. But yeah, I don't know. I think
who is the trainer? Jackie Vimon.
Jackie is still working with Ferruccio. Yeah. But no, he's actually more and more consistent. Still, sometimes one moto really good, another moto more difficult. But we saw race after race that he improved also this. So
we just saw him win the race there in Germany. Actually, both riders won both races that weekend because Marc-Antoine won one and Ferruccio won the other one. Special weekend for the team, I imagine.
Yeah, it was really nice weekend because Ferruccio won the first moto. Was some trouble with the yellow flag, but finally they realized it wasn't possible to see. So, and Marc-Antoine the second moto. Overall, unfortunately, Ferruccio made a mistake in second moto because I think it was possible to have both on a podium. So it was really good weekend.
Well, no Rossi this weekend after his warm-up crash in Loket. How is he, and when can we expect him back racing?
He's okay. Small injury because he took a small knockout, so it was better to don't ride this weekend. And he have a small injury in scapula. So, but it's not a big one. And the doctor, expect to come back for Udevala.
So. And before we go on to our final question, Ferruccio Zanchi just had the warm up, the free practice. How was that? Because we have a new track here this weekend in Lommel, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
How does he ride the sand?
He's not so bad in sand for Italian guy. I would say, especially he don't spend a lot of time in Belgium. So no, he have a good talent. So I think he can do good things. Of course, Lommel is always special, especially physically. He's gonna be a tough one, but. If he's still on his wheel, it's possible to do something good.
Okay, well, look, final question. And we're going to take you back to 2009. Because Pela here was MX3 world champion. We just got some little bits of footage here from that day in Denmark when you won the championship. You won it with a race win. You took 5 Grand Prix victories that year, including a 1-1 at home in La Capelle Marival. You got on the podium at the final round with your teammate Xavier Borg, who came in a wild card in Villars. Nice memories, I'm sure, and a dream come true for you.
Yeah, for sure. It's always nice to see these images, and we saw Antti Pironen on the podium, so that's funny because we still saw the same guys around, so 15 years after. So
absolutely, and and actually that is the thing with motocross, isn't it? It's such a small family, close family. We compete against each other on the weekends, but we always say hello. We always remember the good times from the past, or if somebody needs some help, everybody is there to help them.
Exact. And I think it's good to keep it like this because the competition is on the track, not in a paddock. So this is always good to have this atmosphere.
Well, look, anyway, Pela, René, thanks for joining us here.
Thank you.
All the best for the weekend and the rest of the season with your guys. But we are out of time here for our studio show in Lommel. But coming up on MXGP TV a little later on, as you can see, bottom corner of your screen there, we kick off with the Open Race 1. Of course, we've got 125s presented by FMF Racing later on, and then we've got the RAM MX2 and MXGP qualifying races. Well, that's it. Thanks to our guests, to Pela, to Jeremy, and to Cam. Camden, and of course, always thanks to this one here, my little wing thing, my little sidekick.
Wingting.
Yeah, and we'll be doing it all again in a week's time when we go to Finland. Thanks for watching. See you then. Bye for now.